Welcome to CNR Extra from our studios here at number 5. Ola.
Greater happiness like this, though they comes every year to celebrate with us, but not like this. So we are so happy, and we say, may God bless City FM and City TV.
Many thanks for choosing us this hour. We have a number of interesting stories coming up in this program. And so we'd like to hear from you. We'll put the numbers up on the screen. You can join us on CityTube, on YouTube. Like, share, and of course, subscribe. You can join us also on Facebook at CityTVGH. Then, of course, on Twitter as well at CityTV. I'm in studio with Jude Mensah Duncan. My brother, how you doing?
Oh, no. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been a while I've had you in that seat, but I mean, it's always refreshing when you are here as well.
Well, it's good to be back, and of course, the feeling is great. But so is the feeling on the economic front for the country, because the director of the International Monetary Fund is breathing some breath of fresh air into Ghana's quest to seek a $3 billion bailout from the IMF.
Managing Director of the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva, is optimistic the fund's executive board would grant final approval to Ghana's bailout request soon. Kristalina says her optimism stemmed from the swelling goodwill the country was getting from the international community, including its creditors. Addressing journalists at the ongoing IMF and World Bank spring meeting in Washington, D.C., Kristalina says her outfit was pushing bilateral creditors to quickly provide the financial assurance needed for the board to approve the deal.
Been in constant contact with the authorities in Ghana. We have worked very hard and very swiftly to have the a program for Ghana, $3 billion support program for Ghana in place. We have been urging Ghana's creditors to act swiftly. My appreciation for also the proactive role of the Minister of Finance of Ghana in reaching out to creditors. We are expecting that next week there will be discussions among creditors, and I can tell you that I use every opportunity myself to urge them to act swiftly. Let's remember that Ghana for a long time has done really well to tap markets to finance its growth path. It has been like all innocent bystanders hit by COVID, hit by the war in Ukraine, and it has complicated domestically the ability to finance the budget. So a country that has long track record of sound macroeconomic management ought to be supported to return to markets. So our program is a bridge for Ghana, and to tell you the truth, I'm actually quite optimistic. I think Ghana is going to move. The creditors are going to move, and we are going to move swiftly.
Well, it looks like Ghana really enjoys some goodwill on the international space. I mean, I'm listening to Georgieva, and she at a point sounds like she's doing PR for the Ghanaian government.
Exactly, Nana. I mean, listening to her talk about how our government was doing was quite interesting. I'm proud to, of course, the external shocks like we've come to know it, COVID-19 and the Russian-Ukraine war. But some other people have also opined that just like COVID-19 was, I mean, the pandemic, those who were having underlying health conditions were more prone to very dangerous,
Yeah.
the dangerous side of the virus. So is it with the economy.
The economy was sick.
So the economy
COVID
also
only
had
came to expose
underlining exactly. So that's also been an opinion being pushed by some experts and financial analysts here. So not surprising at all. I mean, 2017 to up until 2020, we saw some growth in the economy. Then COVID came and everything started crumbling down. So it's interesting, and I agree with you. Those were really kind words from Madam Kristalina.
And not just her alone. We also saw the U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen also pushing for the setting up of the creditor committee very speedily.
Yeah, I mean, and even Kamala Harris, when she was in Ghana, talked about the fact that COVID-19 had done a lot of damage to the economy. So, I mean, it will be interesting. I mean, we need this particular IMF executive board level agreement so we are able to contain inflationary pressures, stabilize the cedi, and of course, give Ghana access to go back to the international market for loans to fund developmental projects like the Kumewu Road, the Kumewu Road.
I see what you're trying to do there.
like the Kumewu Road, and of course other very important developmental projects. And if this is not agreed upon, it's going to put the country in a very difficult situation. Now, going forward, we need what I feel like should be a proper fiscal and monetary policy framework post the IMF agreement. So,
not to cut you, but are you aware there are 9 members of parliament as part of the Ghanaian delegation to Washington, D.C. for the IMF World Bank Spring meetings?
I read it and I was
like... And the
like...
justification in there is that we need enough legislature for the expenditure that will come after securing the bailout.
I mean, how? And mind you, this particular trip also had people from the BOG there. So I'm wondering, like, what kind of
management
technical assistance are all of these people going there? For which reason we need to fund some of these things? So for me, I think it's about high time we start the conversation about a very practicable fiscal and monetary policy framework post the agreement, and of course the conversation about the need to cut on our expenditure. I mean, look at the current size of government. It's nothing to write home about. The minority, we had them proud to the vote, the most recent vote in parliament, about the fact that if you look at this current size of government and the duplicity in roles, it's about time we start looking at all of these things as a way of cutting costs so we are able to save and invest in other critical sectors of the economy. But so far, so good.
Right, and the finance minister is quite optimistic. He has actually given another timeline. Says by close of May 2023,
we'll be here.
We should be able to secure
it was March, right?
Yeah.
For the longest of period, it was March.
That's when we were told that we were unable to secure the facility, and by close of March, the Ghanaian economy will collapse.
But to be fair to government, I feel...
So now we are on oxygen. We're waiting for me.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like we made some significant progress in the period. So, I mean, if you look at other
the staff
countries...
level agreement was done in record time.
Exactly. And I think a lot of credit goes to the ordinary stakeholders like investors. I mean, people who agreed on to the debt restructuring, companies that allowed for it. So, I mean, it's not been rosy. I mean, it's been a very difficult time for government, for the finance ministry. But it looks as if they've been able to calm the storm a bit, and we really wish them well in the next level. But like
we wish them well. I really hope that we're able to secure it. But then the major challenge, of course, after securing will be the implementation. And of course, the fiscal discipline that will have, because the IMF will be standing on you with a whip to ensure that you don't waste.
That's so true.
Exactly. Well, let's move into some other stories. And of course, the CJ, the Chief Justice Kwesi Enin-Yeboah, has had cause for concern with respect to extortions from the judicial service.
Now, the Chief Justice, Kwesi Enin-Yeboah, is urging members of the public to be firm and resist what he calls unlawful demands by some staff of the judicial service when they are patronizing the services at the courts. He described as cruel instances where judicial service staff harass and extort monies from litigants who are accessing legal services at the various courts. City News' Ashanti Regional Correspondent Hafiz Tijani has more.
The Chief Justice has issued a stern warning to all judicial officers and staff who engage in unlawful conduct in the discharge of their duties. He says the Judicial Council will not shield any officer found culpable and asked court users to report any such officers for appropriate sanctions.
Harassment in all its manifestations, including threats and extorting money from persons who come to court for redress, is the cruelest way to treat our own people. I urge the public to stand firm and refuse to give in to the unlawful demands of judicial officers and staff. Do not be afraid to report such people for appropriate disciplinary action to be taken against them. I can assure you that the Judicial Council will not shield any judicial officer or staff found to have been guilty of misconduct.
Justice Enin Yabua gave the warning during a ceremony to commission a courthouse at Wiamwase in the Central South District of the Ashanti region. The establishment of this facility will ease the caseload at the Aguna Court and also help litigants who travel long distances to seek justice. The Chief Justice wants lawyers and their clients to make good use of alternative dispute resolution. Chief of Staff at the Presidency, Fremont Parry, believes the coming in of the court will help enhance justice delivery in the area.
It is therefore my expectations that the inauguration of this court will improve justice delivery by reducing the risk of traveling to far places for justice and other related costs.
Ashanti Regional Minister Simon Osei-Mensah commended the Chief Justice for improving infrastructure within the judicial service.
I don't think during the time of any Chief Justice or any government I've been able to construct as many as 100 court houses. And these are structures built for purpose, not those one we used to know, where private residential accommodations were high.
The Wiamwase Courthouse was built through
This is the
admonishing
judiciary we are talking about.
service members within the judiciary to desist from such a practice. I mean, I think it's a known fact for some time that there's some level of corruption going on within the judicial service. An analysis expose some years back exposed to the core how rotten the system has been and how, for want of a better word, justice was literally put on sale to the highest bidder. And you've said that for a democracy, that's not how you'd want things to play. You don't want people,
Because if the people lose trust in the judicial service, that's it.
They are heading towards anarchy. So for me, it's a very important call. But I would have expected a more intense house cleaning.
Exactly. Set examples. Tell us that between this period, that period, these persons were found to be guilty of so and so, and have received this type of punishment. Then it gives us some confidence. But if you tell me to report to you, how do I know that whoever is extorting from me actually comes to give you your share?
Exactly.
You get it?
There's a clear mismatch. But that being said, some would also say he's now giving a public warning. So now he's going to maybe from his office follow up and get people who are still engaged in such practices to face the law.
But you know my challenge with God. You know his time is up.
Yeah, I mean, so he could set a precedent, right? Or he could lay down the general framework as to how to go about it for whoever is exercised to go ahead with it. But that being said, I think you'd want to commend his tenure and his leadership in terms of providing infrastructure for the judicial service. We've seen quite a number of courts come up in the sense that you've seen new buildings here, even residents for the judges and the like. So it's been great. My only concern is that, I mean, going forward, the maintenance of some of these structures, you have a very terrible maintenance culture in this country, and we hope that they are able to keep it in very top conditions going forward.
All right, let's now move into the health sector. And of course, one of the major drivers of infant mortality is malaria. Well, we understand there's a new vaccine, and of Ghana, my beloved country, is the first in the world to approve of it.
Has become the first country in the world to approve a new malaria vaccine developed by the University of Oxford. The effort is one of several focused on addressing the disease that kills over 600,000 people each year, most of them being children in Africa. The complicated structure and life cycle of the malaria parasite has long thwarted efforts to develop vaccines, but the vaccine called R21 appears to be hugely effective in stark contrast to previous vaccines in the same field. There is more in the following report.
The Food and Drugs Authority has given market authorization to a new malaria vaccine, R21. The vaccine was developed by the Oxford University and manufactured by the Serum Institute of India. The authority says after thorough evaluation into the quality, efficacy and safety of the vaccine, they realized that the benefits far outweigh the risks. Addressing the media at a press conference, the CEO of the authority, Dr. Delise Mimidakun, says they have approved the vaccine's use for children between ages 5 months to 3 years.
The evaluation and approval process considered the safety, the immunogenicity, and the efficacy data generated from 5 main clinical trials conducted in the United Kingdom, Kenya, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Tanzania. This means that the approval of the vaccine was based on a satisfactory evaluation outcome of the quality, the safety, and the efficacy data that was submitted to the Food and Drugs Authority. Following our evaluation of the submission that we obtained, we concluded that the benefit of the vaccine significantly outweighed the risk associated with the use of the vaccine. And this is how we evaluate any product that is submitted to us, including vaccines. Again, our evaluation showed that the vaccine has the potential to reduce children under 5 mortality caused by malaria in Africa.
The authority says the rollout of the vaccine will be handled by DEK Pharmaceuticals and the Ghana Health Service.
The quality, safety, and efficacy and grants marketing authorization. That is what we do. The rest is a different discussion. So the local agent, that is DEK Pharmaceuticals, I know is planning on doing something else. Yes. So as to cost issues, commercial issues, that is not the regulator's discussion. Rollout is not the regulator's discussion. Yes? Have I made myself clear? Yes. So we don't do rollout, we don't do coverage. We have looked at the vaccine and made sure that it is safe for use. And once the vaccine is taken up and it is being used, we will then monitor the safety of the vaccine during use. We'll monitor the quality of the vaccine while it is being used. We'll ensure that it is used properly. We'll ensure that if they bring it in, they get a permit, they use it. If there's any problem, we will be sure that we are there. We'll be sure that we are monitoring the safety with our pharmacovigilance systems, etc. But we don't go into discussions of cost. We don't go into discussions of rollout. We don't go into any of those discussions.
The Food and Drug Authority says it has given market authorization to a new malaria vaccine in Ghana that can save the lives of many children. For City News, my name is Inu Safo.
For a disease that kills over 600,000 every year, this is good news. Yeah. But then also, caution must be taken. Yeah. And it's refreshing to hear people like Achiano, the director of the external program for the Ghana Health Service, the immunization program, say that approval alone does not mean immediate or instant application. There are processes to it, so they're going to engage further and go through all these processes. And for me, that is the type of communication we would want to hear. Because, every single vaccine has come with its own myth. So it's important that steps are taken. Due process is done. Due diligence is done. We go through the right processes, and then we do proper communication and education to break some of these myths.
And for me, I was particularly pleased to read that trial data from Burkina Faso, where it was tested, showed that 80%, it had an 80% effective rate, and for me that's quite impressive. Quite impressive. So I think we should be meticulous in our approach with this particular one. I think it's a breakthrough because for far too long, malaria has been causing very devastating effects in this part of the world, and it looked like there was never going to be an end in sight. But after, of course, like we've read, century-long research, we've finally gotten a breakthrough. So we hope that, this is something that involves, of course, continuous learning in the process, right? So we understand that our vaccine manufacturer, the vaccine center we are building here, will take advantage of some of these openings in the industry and make sure that we are also well placed, so that when it comes to a time where we also have to produce our own here, we are able to deal with the cost. Because at the end of the day, in the long term, issues of procurement and being able to afford it become topical, like we saw with the childhood vaccines not too long ago. It just went down to procurement issues, and if we're able to produce some of these things here, I think it will be a great step. For it is never in doubt the quality or the resourcefulness of Ghanaian scientists. I've never doubted that. It has always been about the lack of the will from government to invest in that area. I mean, we have some
especially in research.
I mean, go to Noguchi, for instance. I mean, when I was at the University of Ghana, I had the opportunity to go there a couple of times, and like I'm saying, the quality of the research, the quality of the personnel there, it's never been in doubt. So if you are able to commit the necessary resource and political will towards investing in some of these things, I think in the long run it will come back to be of great benefit to us as a people. So commend the FDA, commend the Ghana Health Service. They didn't get the vaccine, but I mean, they've been proactive in the communication, so it's worthy of commendation. So for now, I've not heard a lot of the not the stereotypes. I've not heard a lot of the myths and the hesitancy. So it means that somebody is doing a good job. So we hope to see a lot more of the communication when it's time for proper rollout.
Right. Let's still stay in the health sector, where Oxford University, or the University of Oxford, is developing R21 to fight malaria vaccines. It's in our own backyard. People are mixing things in the name of herbal medicine. Well, the FDA has been proactive and made some arrests. Let's take a look at this clip.
That herbal and orthodox medicinal products totaling 700,000 Ghana cedis during a soup at Alaba in the Ashanti region. A 35-year-old female trader who is the owner of the seized items is currently in police custody. City News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani has the rest of the story.
The Food and Drugs Authority has intensified its market surveillance exercise and says it is on a high alert to clamp down on illegal pharmaceuticals, which include body enhancement products at retail markets in the Ashanti region. FDA officials and police seized the items from a single retail shop after they swooped the Alaba market, which has become a common place for the sale of unregistered and unwholesome drugs. The authority, as part of the exercise, recently collaborated with the police and arrested 3 persons for similar offenses who are being processed for court. Ashanti Regional Head of the Food and Drugs Authority expressed concern about the influx of unregistered and unwholesome medicinal products in the market.
These products will never be registered by the Food and Drugs Authority. It's a combination of locally produced products and imported ones. And how they get into the country, nobody can tell. But when you beat the entry points, we have approved entry points, and we have FDA officers at all the approved entry points. However, the porosity of our borders allows some of these things to come through unapproved and unmanned entry points. And those ones, because of our market surveillance activities, we are able to get them out of the market. So if you beat the immigration, we'll get you at the sports.
The FDA has cautioned members of the public to desist from patronizing such products on the market.
Now, when you report of an untoward experience, which basically we call it adverse drug reaction, we need to trace back to where you got it from. Now, you bought it from somebody who is on the move. How are we going to get them? So it is dangerous to buy drugs at the undesignated places, not on moving vehicles. Interestingly, when we arrest such people, you have the people in the community we are protecting coming to beg for them. And we want to caution that if you have any advice, give it to the people now before we catch up with them. Because once the law catches up with them, the law will take its course. And this goes to everybody who wants to interfere with the kind of work FDA does. It is in the interest of the nation. The health and safety of the nation must be protected. And that's what FDA does.
Officials say the exercise will be extended to other retail markets where such products are sold.
The Food and Drugs Authority has indicated its resolve to collaborate with relevant state agencies to clamp down on persons who are engaging in the sale of unregistered and unwholesome drugs. Hafiz Tijani, City News, Kumasi, Ashanti region.
The FDA boss in the Ashanti region, raised some very salient points with respect to the porosity of our borders. And of course, there are many illegal entry points. But then we must commend them for being proactive and for going into the markets, even after these products had been smuggled in, to confiscate some of these. Because the dangers,
the side effects are serious.
We cannot quantify the dangers associated with some of these things.
The health implications for some of these things are so disastrous that you can't even, or you don't want to even think about it. I mean, for me, it's also the problem about how, pick public transports, right, in our churches, and how in all of these stations we have there, people just walk into the bus and they start
selling whatever. One medicine can cure 1,001
and you are wondering, some of them, the tablets so big, some of them, the tablets so small, but they all are supposed to be curing the same thing. No regulatory approval, nothing, and they are just in the buses. And for me, like I've said, there's a limit to which our state regulators can act. They can't be everywhere. They are human, right? So then it falls on us as a collective responsibility. So the drivers, GPRTU leadership, what are they doing about it?
Some of these
but
things.
in the first place, we don't even have a proper understanding of the implication. So then it will fall back to the regulator to explain to the leadership. Then from there, everybody at their unit level can take it up. So I think we need to rehash the conversation again. We need to stop. For me, a complete stop. You don't buy medicines or any sort of medication in a vehicle, in a moving vehicle.
Exactly.
It doesn't make any sense. So I hope that you are able to emphasize this more and more going forward.
Truly, and it is important because if you're buying medicine, what have you been diagnosed with?
that you are
buying medicine to treat what?
Because somebody just came to the bus and started.
That's what the advertisement do.
I know.
Charlie, he's a marketer. He has to sell the product. So, but anyways, we want to say kudos to the FDA, but it shouldn't end there. They should move into, going to Alaba we know is notorious for some of these things. But let's move into the other spaces and let's ensure that we rid the streets, the markets of some of these products that may pose danger to our citizens. Well, this is the CNR Extra here on City TV, still to come. Former President John Dramani Mahama criticizes President Akufo-Addo for appointing known political activists to fill vacant positions at the Electoral Commission. We'll be right back with the details. Do stay.
Titans are in the house, but somebody's got to go on eviction night. Keep your favorites in the game and on your screen by casting your vote. Your total number of votes is based on your subscription package. The higher your DSTV package is, the more votes you get for the season. And the same goes for GoTV. Higher packages have better chances of keeping your faves in the game. Upgrade your package to get more votes and keep your favorite housemates safe from eviction. Voting starts every Monday night and closes every Thursday evening. You can vote on the My DSTV or My GoTV app, on the Mobi site, or on the website. Be part of the conversation on our socials. Big Brother Titans, rated 18. Proudly sponsored by Bamboo and Flutterwave.
Welcome back. Grateful that you stayed on with us. Let's know what you think. Send us your comments and your thoughts, as well as your contributions via the WhatsApp number and, of course, on Facebook and on YouTube. But let's do some politics now. And the former president, John Dramani Mahama, who is currently an NDC flag bearer hopeful, has raised some issues with respect to appointments by President Akufo-Addo to the Electoral Commission.
President John Dramani Mahama has criticized President Akufo-Addo for appointing known political activists to fill vacant positions at the Electoral Commission. President Akufo-Addo, in line with Article 43, Clause 1 and 2 of the 1992 Constitution, swore in 3 new members of the EC's governing board on Monday, that's March 20. Now, the former president, John Dramani Mahama, says that the new patriotic party, who are terrified after messing up the country's economy, are now appointing politically tainted members to occupy the Electoral Commission's office ahead of the 2024 elections. He made these remarks in the Eastern region to end his 3-day tour of the region. City News' Neoni Amate Kanaku was with the former president and has more in this report.
Mr. Mahama and his team visited Mpraiso constituency to interact with both branch and constituency executives of Abetifi and Mpraiso to begin the final day of his 3-day tour of the region. Addressing the branch and constituency executives on Thursday, Mr. Mahama bemoaned the MPP's decision to abandon the Abetifi government hospital project, which was started under his government with taxpayers' money. The former president, who later moved to the Nkoko constituency, where the son of a former DCE, Frederick Somua, popularly known as Kasapa, is running unopposed, received a rousing welcome by the party supporters. Addressing the Nkoko branch, Mr. Mahama, who took a dig at the NPP and its recent ECE appointments, indicated that the NDC is poised to train all agents, branch and constituency executives to remain vigilant, act accordingly, and police polling stations in 2024 general elections. The 3 persons appointed by the president to the EC are Reverend Akuya Ofori-Boateng Salima, Ahmed Tijani, and Dr. Peter Epiahene. Notable NDC MP slammed President Akufo-Addo for appointing a known member of the NPP onto the board of the Electoral Commission.
Now to me, we say, Omo party for and Omo EC Electoral Commission. Now say appointments Omo ye, we share microphone. Baby, omo free and your mama ye omina MPP for complete and omo di omo to easy so. And so yeah, better to say Azuma Nelson. It's about to be between the bay omo pasa.